Hi.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I cannot hear you. Let me see what's going on here. Miss Green, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Why am I not able to hear anybody else? See what's going on here. Can y'all hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can hear you. All right. Anybody else? I guess we'll wait. We'll see if somebody else is gonna chime in. So how are y'all today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Um, what time is it? It's 2 o'clock. Did y'all want to give it a minute or did y'all want to go ahead and get started? Oh, look like somebody else was saying. I think that is everybody. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see here. One second. All right. So, ladies, welcome to the Boss Women Network Roundtable discussion. I am Leilani. I'm so excited to bring you guys together so we can discuss elevating your mindset in business. At Boss Women Network, we believe that growth, success, leadership starts with the right mindset. So today we want to dive into key topics that impacts every woman in business, like thinking bigger, reinventing yourself, conquering self-doubt, avoiding burnout, and building an authentic brand. So most importantly, this space is for real talk and sharing your experiences, challenges, and wins, and whatever has shaped your journey. So let's get started by everybody, just introducing themselves, talking about what you do and things like that. So whoever wants to go first, we could just go ahead and start with you.
I'll go first. Hi everybody. I'm Waukesha. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in Gastonia. I am a real estate math coach. I help aspiring real estate agents pass the math portion of the real estate exam. And so far, I've helped over 300 become licensed through math and affirmations. And that's me.
Pretty good. That real estate exam is hard.
It is.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So my name is Sarah Lynn Green. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I live in Houston now. My 9 to 5, I'm a mental health counselor, so I help survivors of domestic violence, human trafficking, and sexual assault. Outside of that, I do a lot of work in the community. I'm actually leading a conference here in Houston next week, next Saturday, which is very exciting to, bridge the gap between, Houston community leaders and, women like all yourselves, bosses that want to get to those levels. And then outside of that, I do a lot of like social media, marketing, and artwork. So that's a little bit about me.
That's great. Okay. Next.
I'll jump in. Hi, everyone. My name is Adelia Fakhri. I am a entrepreneur. I have two companies. One is called Event High. It's a event ticketing platform, but we cater to the cannabis industry. So we provide a compliant platform. And then I'm also the co-founder of Blunt Brunch, which is a women empowerment event series. We host events all throughout the nation for, again, women executives and professionals, but in the cannabis industry. We have a real goal to, make sure that we try to make it different than any other industry out there by making sure women have a seat at the table in this industry. I also volunteer for a couple nonprofits. One of them, more specifically, is called the International Cannabis Business Women's Association. And then This Is Jane Project. This Is Jane Project is for Janes, those who have been impacted by trauma, and we try to provide them with healing tools and methods to work forward in their life. Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Okay, I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Nicole and I'm so excited to be here. I'm from Uganda and I work as a recruitment consultant, but apart from that, also I work as a career coach. So I work with mid-career professionals who are trying to navigate the job market and, kind of need some guidance to help them be able to either transition or those that are unemployed can be able to get back into the job market and get better 9 to 5 jobs. And apart from that, also I work for a different other community organization called Train the Youth, Empower the Future. So in there, we get to work with a lot of marginalized youths and women, basically training them with entrepreneurship skills so that they can be able to enable them be able to start some small businesses just to help them make a livelihood for their families in the community. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Thank you so much.
Great. And
All right, my turn. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for having this. My name is Nerissa Malloy. I am a business growth strategist, and I work with CEOs, rapidly growing CEOs, to help them step out of the back end so that they can step into growth and expansion. We focus on 3 key areas: their people, their processes, and their profits. I'm a registered nurse by trade, so I look at the total health of the business and the entrepreneur to make sure that they are operating efficiently without overwhelm. I also have a Unshakable CEO community for women experts and entrepreneurs that are either stepping into entrepreneurship or already established entrepreneurs, just to provide growth tips, strategies, just community and networking. And I'm originally from New York, and I think that's about it.
all right.
Mhm.
Hey, well, thank you all for those amazing introductions. All right, so let's jump right into the first topic then. The millionaire mindset, thinking bigger in business and life. Every successful woman I know has had a shift in their thinking in a major way to break through to the next level. So whether it's overcoming limiting beliefs, like handling self-doubt or stepping out of their comfort zone, I realize mindset is everything. So I wanted to ask you ladies, what mind shift has helped you break through limitations in your business and career? Let's start with you, Adelia.
Yeah, thank you. There's 2 things that I really practice every single day. One is reminding myself to stop playing small. I think that's the biggest thing is that I tend to be careful at decisions, sometimes too careful. And so I have to remind myself, if I had no limits, what would I be able to build? And so putting that into my ask when I am facing these obstacles or, trying to not let imposter syndrome take over me, it is making sure that I'm not playing small. But then the other one is doing the uncomfortable. Whenever my head is telling me, no, don't do it, that means, yes, I have to go and do it now. Because all these times I get so scared, I work it up to be this crazy thing. And then I go out there, whether it's going on stage or it's going into a meeting and trying to ask for, like a business meeting that I need to fight for myself or I need to pitch myself. It's working through the uncomfortable. So stop playing small and working through the uncomfortable to think bigger in life and in business.
What about you, Sarah?
I think one of the shifts for me was 2 years ago exactly. I remember I was in my apartment and I was really realizing that I have to stop doubting my abilities and stop putting myself down, even if other people are not supporting, because I realize my market or my audience is not the people I see every day, like friends and family. Um, So I went through a time where I was really like relying on my faith all the way up until now, and like manifesting, keeping an open mind, and breaking out of my shell. Because I mean, you can't really tell, but growing up, I was very shy. Like, I was super shy. I would play by myself, like going to church with my family. I would go sit by myself, like very odd things. Um, and I think that's one of the biggest things with networking is that you have to talk. You have to use your voice. And, every conversation that I have, I always try to insert like, hey, I do this so I can get connected to, you know, what they're doing or help them in some way. Cause I love to help people. So, it's just, I think the biggest thing to kind of put it in a nutshell is being able to use my voice and then just relying on my faith on the back end when things might not go my way, or if I need guidance, using that spiritual like intuition has really helped me.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question? So, since you say you kind of grew up kind of being off to yourself, how did you step out of your comfort zone and feel comfortable enough to start networking and talking to people when you go places? Because I know that is a struggle for people, even me sometimes.
Um, I would honestly have to give it to my best friend Deani. Um, when I first moved to Houston, I was just set on going back to school for my master's, and that was it. So I didn't think that like my artwork or being a creative would really take me anywhere. And then she really pushed me to like bring my art back to life. And I still remember the first time we kind of went out, she was telling people like, hey, like Sarah, she does artwork. And I'm like, no, 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 like don't tell people. And she's like, why not? So I think from that aspect and just kind of what Adelia said is getting out of a comfort zone to speak. It's all a learning curve. So now I can say since 2019, I've really built up the courage to just go up to someone random and be able to just spark a conversation. I feel like my background in psychology and mental health has been an advantage. So now, all that stuff on the backbone, I feel more confident in myself when I'm talking to a complete stranger.
That's good. Anybody else want to talk about that? Or did y'all want me to ask the question again, or do you want to move on to the next question?
I can say something.
Okay.
For me, was practicing what I preach, because I always would give affirmations to my students, but I wouldn't really believe it for myself. But when I started practicing what I preach, that's when things started turning around for me. Yeah, so practice what you preach. Because I was telling them, you are a great test taker. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, and your clients are attracted to you as soon as you pass your real estate exam. So yeah, been practicing what I preach. Yeah, that's what really helped me. Mm-hmm.
For
Nicole?
me, I would say that as far as mindset shifting from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset, because as a nurse, we basically calculate our bills, our budget, our travel with hours. So if I work this shift, that shift, then I can do X, Y, Z. But shifting to entrepreneurship is really learning how to tap into your systems, your support, and strategies so that you're not working. And so the mindset shift, the second one was really standing firm on the fact that the more I work does not guarantee results. It's about the type of work that I do. What are the revenue generating activities versus busy, productive work? And so that's a big difference, because entrepreneurs can be busy doing stuff, but not seeing a return because they're not doing the right stuff. So it's really identifying what it is and having a cutoff time, because working all day and you're not seeing any money, that means you're doing the wrong things.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
How did you navigate that? And how did you realize, what did you do to figure out that you were doing the wrong things and you needed to kind of organize yourself to get on the right track? Because a lot of people go through that. We're just doing so many different things and you feel like you're getting there because you're doing so much, but really you're still not making any money.
The first thing I had to do was invest in a coach. So that they can help me with identifying what are the key revenue generating activities that I need to focus on. Because sometimes you get caught up in the emails, the phones, the website, all the things, but are you actually reaching out to people daily? Do you have metrics and things that you're tracking? And with my background too, tracking KPIs, measurements, all of that is key because what you measure, what you track, expand, it grows, right? But when you're not tracking or you're not tracking the right things, you're just doing busy work. So the first thing was definitely getting a coach. And then the second thing was scripture, tying into the scripture, realizing that I don't have the control. I can only do what I can in my strength. And then I let God handle the rest. So scriptures helped me, also prayer and all of that helped me to really know that it's not what I can do in my strength.
Nicole, did you want to speak on that or you want to go to the next question?
Yeah, from my side, I think I relate so much with what Nerissa said because personally, like even with my own experience, I think it just kind of had to shift my mindset in a bit because like in my field also of recruitment, like there used to be a time when I used not to believe in myself so much and I would try to help people and then somehow, somewhere they don't just get the job and I would start asking myself, oh, okay, like what's wrong? Am I really like that bad at my job? Do I suck? And I feel like it kind of affected me as well when I try to transition as well, even in career coaching. Like sometimes you'd coach somebody and at the end of the day, they still don't get the job. And I'm like, okay, am I really doing the right thing or what? Like what should I do? But then I got to realize that, okay, you know what? That's just the mindset. And, I have to like shift that mindset and not want to be in control all the time. And now I started to realize that the more I began to work with people, it also made me realize that every time they'd come back, they'd be like, oh my God, you know what? After me working with you, I was able to get this transition, like the way maybe I write my resume, my cover letters, things of that sort, like has totally changed before I started working with you. And I was like, oh my God, so this is actually like where the transformation comes in. And so that really had to work a lot with my mindset and make me realize that, okay, you know what? You do not need to feel that you're not good enough because you already have what you're bringing to the table. And as long as even that teeny tiny thing is able to make a difference in somebody else's life, then you've made your transformation. And so that kind of helped me to shift my mindset and help me try to tap into the millionaire mindset and lifestyle. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I add
Yeah.
something?
Yes.
Something that kind of recently happened. I I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Art Basel in Miami.
Yeah, my cousin was
Uh,
part of it. Yeah.
yeah, so I had went in 2019 and then I recently went this past December. And I went there thinking at first I'm just gonna relax, it's gonna be vacation, but then I switched and I was like, I'm gonna be around a lot of people and I'm gonna be by myself. I need to make this a business trip. I made so many flyers. I put them all around Wynwood, Miami. I kind of used like a dramatic caption. I said, Caleb, I know you cheated and here's the proof. And it was a QR code, but the QR code really went to like my art page. And I felt like that whole trip was very spiritual because I went by myself and I was networking. And this one random person I ran into, we were talking and they made me realize that it's not talent that people lack, it's just the people that you don't know yet. And for some reason that really hit me like really hard for my mindset. And kind of fast forward a few days ago, I got an email from an art gallery to come to the Art Basel for next for this upcoming December. So kind of all of us talking about like manifesting, affirmations, leaning on our strength, and the point of transferring the transformation of our mindset. It's really up to us to really just believe that we can do it and just be in front of people that could get us to those different connections.
Like that. We just haven't met those people yet.
Yeah. Big on the yet.
Yeah. Okay. Did anybody else have anything to say before we move on?
I just wanted to add something real quick that one thing I've been standing firm on is that I believe in this next season for women entrepreneurs, it's really all about your connections and your partnerships. So events like this, attending, connecting, collaborating, making intentional connections is what's going to take us to the next level, because as we can see, it's not always about your skills and your talents. It's about who you know.
Yes. I like that, intentional connections.
Yeah. That is like actually a journey I'm on right now, because I have been an introvert all my life. So I can relate to you, Sarah, when you said that you were uncomfortable. So part of me right now is stepping out of my comfort zone with the podcast and causing me to be able to network with other women. And I've been interviewing a lot of therapists as well. And they're like, well, when you go out, you need to, because I don't usually go places. I'm more of, I'll have something and people come where I am, but I don't usually go to places. So she was like, when you need to start going to places, and when you go in there, you walk around everybody in that room and you shake your hand and you introduce yourself to everybody. I was like, whoa, that's really taking me out of my comfort zone. I haven't done it yet, but that's one of my next steps that I'm going to do, is going somewhere to the next event, maybe to that Empower Her event, because I see you have something called Empower Her event coming up.
Yeah, it's next Saturday out here in Houston.
Mm-hmm. What kind of event? What is that event about?
So the whole goal is to empower the next woman. So me and a couple girls at one of the TV and radio stations here, I do a kind of show also. All of us women got together to put this conference together in about 3 months, right? So we were able to get 20 different community leaders, from doctors, therapists, real estate agents, CEOs, SEOs, attorneys. We're getting them to be on panels, kind of like what we're doing now, and then bridging that gap between these people that are on these levels and women that either want to be re-inspired, because you're never too old to dream a new dream, or you might not know where to start. So like I said, we're just bridging that gap for people that want to grow and want to be inspired to be an entrepreneur or to grow their own network or their business. So it's been a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm in charge of keeping everybody accountable. But I'm so excited for this. Basically, it's just a big networking event in a nutshell. I'm very excited for it.
Well, congrats on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next topic is the art of reinvention, becoming the woman you need to be. So one of the truths about success is that sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. I know I've done that several times, whether that means shifting your business, stepping into new opportunities, or just letting go of what no longer serves you. Let's talk about that, and how have you experienced that? Have you ever had to reinvent yourself? And what did you do? What steps did you take?
Absolutely. I'll go, because I'm like in the process and in the end part of that too. And then I talk about it too in my book, and it's part of one of my frameworks that you have to really make a decision, number one, that you're not going to stay where you are. And then number two is really defining your success, not based on social media, based on this person you follow or what other people say. Is really about what you're truly aligned with, what truly moves you. Just like you said, when you networking, I'm an introvert too. People don't believe that. But after an event, I need to go and like regroup, recharge. Like it takes a lot.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. Don't get me wrong. And as an introvert, I don't go and talk to everybody. I make a goal that when I go to an event, I'm walking out with 3 strategic, intentional business cards, 3 connections. So I'm not totally drained and I don't feel like, ugh. So I protect my energy. But as far as reinventing myself, I really had to get clear on what I wanted, get in alignment, quiet time, a lot of that. What am my purpose to do? Because I'm telling you that the internet is a distraction. It's a lot of noise. You'll see stuff and be like, I'm gonna do that. Oh, she did that. And you find yourself in a rabbit hole doing everything but what you're called to do. And then you wonder why it's taken so long because you're not aligned, you're not connected, and you're not really focused on what that vision is. So once you get super clear on what success looks like for you and stay focused, put blinders on, that's part of reinvention because you'll see how things and people and connections start falling into place and opportunities. And you're like, wow, it's not that hard. It was hard because I was doing everything but what I was supposed to be doing. So that's what reinvention was for me going through that process.
That's a great story.
Mhm. Yeah, when it comes to like social media, I would say one thing I definitely did is unfollow a bunch of people that were not on the same mind frame or just negative or like the shade room, like stuff like that. I really was like, all right, this is clouding my mind of what I really want to do because I already work with people and trauma. I don't want to see that outside of work. You know what I mean? Once I did I know how to detach when I leave work. I don't want the social media to kind of bring me down also. So those different sites that kind of exploit just negative stuff, I really have been unfollowing a bunch of um pages, but then following pages that kind of align, kind of what you're saying, aligning with what I want and what I want success to look like, or even different coaches that give out tips or ways to kind of reframe your mindset and stuff like that. That's just something I did, kind of piggybacking off of you talking about social media.
There was one of my first businesses, it was definitely more of a startup. I actually raised money for the company. I gave it my all for 7 years. And this is when it's the biggest moment of reinventing myself, when I just made the decision to close the company. It was one of the hardest things. It was literally my baby. The reason I launched that company was the first time I transitioned from corporate to cannabis was I ended up having an ectopic pregnancy and I found cannabis from a medical aspect. It helped me emotionally and physically. And so I launched this business. So literally it was all the love and energy and kind of pain of what I lost putting into this company. I did it for 7 years and then I made that decision to close it and I lost who I was. I literally felt like that company was me. So I had to really not only reinvent myself, but refine myself. And it was hard because so much was into that company that I thought I was losing myself. I thought my company was me. So I had to go back to, no, the company's not me. Yes, it was a big part of me, but now who am I really? Like what am I now? What did I learn from that company? What do I want to do that is my next power, or what do I want to give back to the world? And so that was really hard. I think it goes back to, every setback is a setup for reinvention. And we can't let fear allow us to not start over. And we can't let fear or the thinking that we've let others down hold us back to what we're supposed to move forward to in the future as we continue to reinvent ourselves. And we're always going to do it. I think that's one thing we always have to remember. All of us are going to keep reinventing ourselves in life, both personally and professionally. And that's okay because we're growing every day.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree as well with what Adelia said because personally, like even with my own journey, I've had to constantly reinvent myself so many times. And I remember I started my business, like career coaching, that was around 2022, and I was running it with my best friend who was my co-founder at that time. And we had a team of, I think, around 12 people. And so I just was so immersed with my business and working together with her as a team. But then in late 2023. I think that was around December. We had flown over to the UK for a speaking engagement. And then later on after that, like that's just how our friendship ended up splitting. Like things became so sour and I was like, oh my God, like what's not happening? And that was the time like when she kind of betrayed me for something that was like really weird. And so the business like had to break, the whole team got messed up, like everything just took a whole 360 turn. And before I knew it, when I came back home, a lot of allegations had already spreaded around me, like on social media, over stuff that I hadn't done before. And I had to go to the police and like try to defend myself and all of that because she almost wanted to throw me to jail. So like it was that crazy. But I'm so grateful that now that as I've been able to bounce back out of it, it made me realize that, okay, you know what? There comes a season whereby you need to learn to let go and you need to learn to stop comparing yourself because during that season, I felt like a failure. I felt like, oh my God, I think my life is over now. Probably there's nothing good that I can do, and maybe I need to find something else, but I couldn't find what I needed to do. But then again, it was so funny because during that time, that was again the period when so many people were still looking for me and so many people still wanted me to coach them. And I was like, how do I pour from an empty cup? And yet I'm dealing with all these frustrations with my best friend and all of that. And then why are people still looking for me? But then later on, I just told God, you know what? If this is exactly what you want me to do, then give me the grace to come back and fight, not on my own, but with you by my side. And honestly, like since last year till date, I'm now like in that situation where I'm trying to rebuild and reinvent myself again. And I'm doing it solo right now because I'm like, okay, I don't need to get a team right now. That will come in later. But I'm just grateful that I'm getting to appreciate this time. And I was dealing with a lot of that whole comparison thing because even on social media, I would look at other people and their life just seemed so perfect. And I was like, oh my God, like, when am I even going to get there? Like, but then I had to also reach a point, just like what Sarah did, and started blocking so many people just to allow me move my journey and my path on my own, and also let everybody else move their own path on their own terms. So yeah, so I think that has also been one of the most biggest reinvention journeys for me.
Congratulations from coming out of that, because I'm pretty sure that was tough, especially being a best friend.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah. So, Mrs. How do you pronounce? Is it Jaquisha? Jaquisha?
It's Waukesha. I'm in the
Sorry.
yeah,
Did you have
I'm
anything?
in the process of reinventing and inventing myself. Because I haven't had a client since November, and because life has been happening, and it feels like God is expanding me, but the big dream is so big, it kind of scares you. So like, I'll still be online, but I'm moving more towards brick and mortar, opening up a training school where I can help more aspiring real estate agents become licensed. Yeah, so I'm in the process of reinventing myself too, and it's scary. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you say you help realtors get their exam, but do you also help the lenders? Because I know they have a lot of math in their portion of the exam too.
I haven't reached out to lenders yet, but that's one part that I plan on doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm also a real estate broker. I have my own real estate company, but I have not started recruiting agents yet.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely refer people to you to help realtors start getting their licenses and things like that. Because that math test is the real estate exam is not easy. I literally took it 5 times before I actually passed it. So, so yeah, I'll definitely refer clients your way.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Like I
Uh,
said, basically you gotta yeah, you gotta say them affirmations and I just have a proven system that really helps them pass that God gave me. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So did anybody else have anything else to say about her, about that particular topic, or do y'all want to move on to the next topic? 1 second, let me pull that up. Um, just a second here. I thought I had it all
I do
together.
have a question.
Okay.
For Adelia, it seems like your first business, like you said, was like your baby, like kind of like your stepping stone. Um, when you had to let go of it, have you ever thought of bringing it back, or are you at the point where you're okay with letting it go and just letting it be that experience?
You know, there
And
were,
I just ask because I can't imagine like letting go of something that, it sounds like it really helped you a lot. I just couldn't imagine letting go of something like that. I'm sure you had your reasons, of course, but yeah, I was just curious if you ever thought about bringing it back or.
I have, and I look at it too because the industry that I'm in, it was a little bit too early, building what I was building at the time, but it did make a difference, and it did allow me to make so many connections, which helped me in my next two businesses that I have right now. So there have been times where I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to keep doing that. We were creating content, telling stories about the entrepreneurs in this industry and their why, and just giving a voice, and so. I have, but I'm also too now looking at the current companies that I do have, and I like where they're going, and again, it was that stepping stone to now where do I want to go in the future, and so now I don't think so much, but there's been moments where it's been in my heart where I'm like, my friends will say something like, "Oh, I wish we had this back," or "Would you bring it back?" And so there's been times, but I think where I'm at now, I'm definitely on a new path, and I feel that there's a different way that I am giving back with these different companies now. So,
Okay.
for that
Well,
question.
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So next question is pulling up here. So the fearless woman conquering self-doubt and taking up space. I guess that kind of answered that in the second question too. The fearless woman, like how did you overcome fear and failure and judgment? What was one of the moments in the journey where you stepped into your own power? And how did you confidently own your own success without downplaying your achievements?
I think for me, I stopped caring
Mm.
respectfully for the outcome because I think, everyone wants success, everyone wants to be on a certain type of level. And I think more recently I've stopped caring about exactly what that looks like, at least for me. Like I know I want to, level up, but I think I stopped putting an exact vision on it so I can enjoy the journey. Um, so I can enjoy the journey, like really being in tune with the people I'm connecting with, kind of like we said, like intentional connections, and just really being a student. I think I've got so caught up with the end result of, yeah, working for myself so I can go travel and retire my dad and do this and this and this. And then it's like, well, Sarah, you still have to do all the work in between.
Yeah.
So I think once I let go of exactly the life I'm picturing, stuff started making more sense for me. Um, and then the doubt kind of started diminishing,
Hmm.
because I'm realizing this is a journey. I'm going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are just going to help me for the next connection or even help someone else who might go through the same thing. Because, you know, there's no perfect path, but if I can learn from this journey and then help the next woman too, or whoever else I can help, you know, kind of maybe skip over the little hurdle. That's just kind of what I look at it when it comes to self-doubt, is not putting too much expectation, because I've found myself being disappointed. But now that I've kind of backed off of that certain expectation, it's a lot less stressful in that aspect.
That was so good, Sarah. The other day, I went to an event. It was a nurses event, and I was invited. I didn't want to go. I was like, you know, I'm not with the clique and all that stuff. Like, and so I was like, I don't want to go. But I was invited by my mentor. She said, come have a seat. So I went. And long story short, I saw so many old colleagues, and they were like, oh my God, I see what you're doing. We need to connect, and all these different things. And at that point, I realized, after networking and seeing old faces and, you know, colleagues, like I said, I was reminded of my greatness.
Mhm.
And sometimes you get so caught up in doing the work, that you forget the impact. And
Mhm.
so what I started doing was recapping, like writing a list of all the wins for the month. And like when I sat in February and I wrote it all out, I was like, dang, because you forget to celebrate yourself. And so when you do that and you have those constant reminders, you can step into that giant space and take up space, because you know that this is the impact you're making. Sometimes you need to go back and read your testimonials from clients, or, you know, you have to kind of reaffirm yourself, and validate yourself and not rely on external validation. So those are some of the things that I've done to remind me that I am a giant, and that I can take up space, and I will. And these are my gifts and talents. This is what I've accomplished. This is what I've done. And this is what makes me qualified to do everything, especially when you start to doubt or it's taken longer than you anticipate.
I like that. Have you ever had any situations where you doubted yourself in a networking situation because somebody made you feel small? Like, you know, some women or men or whatever out there in business may feel like they're doing better than you, or they're on a higher level than you. How do you handle a situation like that when you're trying to network and they trying to tap at your confidence?
So I don't think I've experienced it where it was like a blatant. But what I've seen is like different organizations and associations and events when they have cliques and things of that nature, where they see, you know, you host a networking event, but you're not inclusive. You
Right.
in a corner, you're not networking. So you see that, and then I know right away that this is not the space for me. Or I will just make sure I connect with 3 people and leave and know not to attend any of those events. So I'm very crucial on like associations and cliques, like like I'm not knocking sororities and all of them, because they're, you know, they have the pluses, but when it comes to cliques and those kind of things, it's like a trigger for me. Like, no, we should all feel accepted, all feel like we all can contribute to success. So I just kind of stay away from that, and that's why I'm creating my own Unshakable CEO community. It's more inclusive. We're not looking at what income you make, what degrees you have, because I have degrees, and there's people that get degrees just for validation, and that's not me. So everybody's invited. Like, we don't care. We can pivot conversations to wherever you are, but you don't have to feel less than, because I've seen it, and it's not good, especially for women, Black
Yeah,
women.
I love that. That's what the Boss Woman Network is about as well.
Mhm.
Anybody else wanted to talk about that self-doubt?
Yeah, I think for me, personally, dealing with self-doubt has been one of the biggest things that has like affected my journey so much, in a sense that, you know, like sometimes in business there's always that comparison thing. Like, you always want to compare yourself maybe with somebody else who is probably 5, 10 steps ahead of you. And so at the end of the day, it almost starts to feel like a competition, because now you want to get to their stage. and yet you're in your season for a reason, right? And most of the times I always tell myself, okay, you know what, like sometimes I want to control things so much, but then whenever I remember, I'm like, okay, you know what, Nicole, like hold on, like calm down, because you cannot learn to run before you walk. Like you have to follow that process. And so I'm starting to appreciate the current season that I'm in, because as much as it comes with a lot of challenges, but it also comes with so many lessons that you get to learn and appreciate the current level that you're in right now. You get to enjoy that. And it's also funny because, again, you find that so many other people are already even admiring your current stage, and they haven't yet gotten to that stage where you are. So as much as you're admiring somebody who is already 10 steps ahead of you, there's someone who is already still behind you and is admiring your current stage. So I think for me, that has been like one of the biggest self-doubts that I've had to deal with, and just tell myself, you know what, appreciate where you are right now, unlearn and relearn again, because where you are is also another beautiful season for you to cherish, because when time comes and that season ends, you're definitely going to move on to the next season. So is it going to still find you the same, or will it now find you upgraded with your mindset and your whole behavior and everything? So yeah.
I love that. We're running out of time, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the last topic. We're going to skip one. So the last topic is your brand, your power, creating a business that reflects who you are. So your brand is more than a logo or a catchy slogan. It's the essence of who you are. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a career professional, or a creative, a brand should align with your values and vision and purpose. So let's start with the foundation. How do you build a personal brand that truly reflects who you are? Anybody want to tap into that?
I'll go. So one thing that I do specifically with clients is we start from the basics. What's your mission, vision, values? And once you're clear on that, and it's fluid, it changes as you progress, as you pivot, as you expand. But that is like the deep foundational structure of what you're building your business on, because it helps with decision making. It helps with who you partner with. It helps with the team that you bring, the contractors and the people that you bring on board to support your mission, your vision. Because if you don't have one, then what are they doing? How are we in alignment? How do we know which direction? When you think about your company or corporations that you worked for, orientation, they're drilling the mission, vision, the values of this organization. So I feel a lot of those things we need to apply to business too, to make sure that we are anchored in that, so that we can stand firm in what we believe in and what our foundation is and our mission, and we won't deviate. And can I add one more quick thing? There's a book that I introduced to my community. It's called Killing Comparison by Nona Jones. And it speaks to everything you talked about, Nicole. All the insecurities from childhood and different things that were spoken over you, and how it affects women now, entrepreneurs. So I would say it's a really good book. I'm reading it again for the second time, but it talks about everything that you mentioned. So it's a good book.
What's it called again?
It's
I'm writing that book.
Killing Comparison by Nona Jones.
Killing Comparison.
Mm-hmm. I have on Audible. It's
I
just
was gonna say, is it on Audible? Definitely go to Audible.
mm-hmm. Really, really good book.
Okay.
Wow.
Anybody else want to answer? Talk about that? Aligning with your brand. How do you know when you have the right brand or starting one?
I'll add on to that. I think everything that you said is exactly the right way to start something, because you are going to always want to go back to your why. As you get excited, you meet so many other people, and you like will start. I'll catch myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, let's partner, let's do this, let's collaborate. But then you get so drugged away from your mission and your why. So if we don't know our mission, if we don't know our why, yeah, we're going to start getting busy doing all that other stuff. That's not, again, going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, it's going to distract you from what your actual goal is, to make you money, to progress in your vision. And so, I think it's important that we have to remember that our reputation, it's, we cultivate our reputation. We have to remember the impact that we're wanting to make, and two, the legacy that we all want to leave behind. Like, what is it that we want to be known for? Not just within the business, but who we are. Because again, we're investing our time into these businesses that we're building. And so, what do we want to be known for? Again, going back to the values that we stand behind. And how do we want people to feel when they interact with our brands? All of that is going to be so vital into that. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with how to start the beginning process.
Anybody else?
I think for me as a mental health counselor, even though I work under a nonprofit, like I still have free reign with what I do. So something that I do like with my clients, I'm trying to think of how I can connect this because it's not like it's well, I would say, yeah, it's my brand because I'm a mental health counselor. Um, I always, anything that I tell my clients, I always do it. So kind of what I think Waukesha had mentioned earlier is I can't remember the exact phrase that she used, but practicing what you preach. Like anything that I tell my clients to do, whether it's read this book, breathing techniques, this technique, this technique, this technique, like I've done it. And I think that's one thing that at least it shows kind of transparency because I don't want to try and give someone something that I have no clue that works. And then that's going to leave me uncredible because they're going to go and do it. And then we come back to session. They're like, well, it didn't do what you said it was going to do. And now I'm kind of, now we're like this. And even in my work, I always, I'm the person that always, anytime I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I try to stand on that as much as I can with life because life does life. And I think that's one thing that people say about me is that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Because I've definitely been in situations where someone said they were going to help me or connect me or do something and then they didn't do it. And then it's like it's just not a good feeling. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, at least with me, whether it's, being a counselor or being like an artist and working with people and stuff like that. So I think just staying true to being a good person, because that's something I grew up on is, hard work outbeats everything. Just be a good person, have a good heart, and just kind of being intentional with what I'm doing. And I think that's what's reflecting out to everyone. And that's how I want to be looked at. And that's the legacy that I want to leave too, is that, we never know when our time is up. So whenever that time comes, I want people to know, Sarah Green, she did exactly what she said she was going to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still learning. But yeah, that's my answer on, brand and stepping into my powers, just being authentic and being genuine.
Sounds like integrity is one of your values.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of time, so we're gonna have to go ahead and cut this short. But I would like to close it out with at least everybody saying who they are and giving out their contact information so people will be able to contact you and reach you in case you want to connect with other women that'll view this. So we can start with Adelia.
Thank you again for inviting me to be a part of this amazing conversation and meeting each of you women. My name is Adelia Fakhri, actually. I just eloped, so I'm still getting used to saying my
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're engaged for a while, so we finally just did it. So my name's Adelia Fakhri. Again, you can learn more about my businesses. The first one is eventhigh.io. The second one is Blunt Brunch, which is bluntbrunch.com. I'm also on all social media. medias. It's at Adelia_Fakhri_. And I look forward to connecting with anyone that wants to further the conversation. I love talking about events, entrepreneurship, and tech.
Okay. Whoever wants to go next. Sarah, I'll just say Sarah.
Oh, I was looking at the LinkedIn. I was like, "Ooh, I need to." That's one thing I've been trying to get on top of now is I'm realizing the people are on LinkedIn.
I'm just
So
realizing that too. I need to get on LinkedIn.
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, thank you so much for bringing me on here. I love connecting with other people. Like I said, I'm always a student. Um, so again, my name is Sarah Lynn Green. Um, my Instagram is, oh, that's difficult. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in the chat because if I say it, it might be a little confusing. Um, but I'll put it in the chat. So I do artwork on the side. So I do anything from like memorial pieces, customized pieces, logo design, graphics, flyers, um, everything. I'm not inside a box. I do a lot of different creative things. Um, I am looking to kind of branch out and kind of start maybe some coaching on like relationships. Because I do want to end up leaving my 9 to 5. I think I'm at a point where I've learned enough. Um, so definitely want to learn from, y'all that have your own business and being a coach. So I'll definitely put my Instagram and LinkedIn in the chat and then we could connect there.
All right. I am Nerissa Malloy, business growth strategist. And again, I work with rapidly growing business owners and experts that are looking to start a consulting business. And so I basically help with the right structure so that you can grow your business without overwhelm by looking at the people you need, the process, and the simple systems so that you can operate more efficiently. And so I dropped my LinkedIn and my Instagram in the chat too as well. So thank you for having this, Leilani. It was great. I was wondering, because I'm scheduled to host a roundtable in April. So when I saw this, I was like, wow, I'm curious to know what does it look like? And, so I'm excited that you did this too, because it just confirms that I'm on the right path.
Oh, cool. Glad you came. Okay, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Nicole, the Tarot Career Coach, and on Instagram, I'm Nicole, the Career Catalyst. LinkedIn, Nicole the Tarot, Nicole the Career Catalyst. I mean, same names. So anything related to career coaching, yeah, that's what my page is all about. Thank you.
Okay. And last.
Waukesha, I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook group, RE Math is Easy. And I'm on Instagram as well as Real Estate Math Made Easy. And I have a website, realestatemathiseasy.com/VIP. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to thank everybody for joining me on this roundtable talk. This is something new that I'm starting up because I have a Boss Woman Network podcast as well. I am in Houston, Texas as well. So if you would like to do like a personal interview with just me, we can also do that as well. Just reach out to me in the email. But does anybody have anything that they want to say to encourage somebody else before we get out of here?
Be unshakable.
Be unshakable. That's it. Be unshakable. Hopefully this podcast roundtable will be able to inspire some woman or young girl that are looking for some information or some type of outlet to learn and get information from the people that's already struggled and been through all the different challenges in business to be able to guide them through. And that is the purpose for this roundtable talk and the Boss Women Network as a whole. So I want to thank you ladies for tuning in. Thank you for joining me on the Roundtable Talk. You are welcome to join again whenever I do them. I do them on Saturdays. So it's like a different group of women, but we're all giving out different information to kind of help the next woman in business. So, and that is it.
Leilani, can you send us your contact information to your social so we can follow you as well?
I sure will. And matter of fact,
Okay.
let me say it on here too, bosswomennetwork.com, Leilani Realtor or Leilani Business. You can find that on all social medias and Facebook, Instagram, but I need to get on, what is that? What did she say? LinkedIn. I need to get on LinkedIn because I'm not on there and I'm hearing about LinkedIn a lot. I do have a page, but I'm just not using it. So I need to get on there. But Threads has been amazing.
It
Well,
has.
I definitely will add my information in there. So thank you, ladies, for tuning in. And until next time, bye.
All right, thank you guys. Y'all have a nice
Thank
weekend.
you. You too. Take care.
So much,
Have a great
everyone.
weekend.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right.